to somehow suggest that an undocumented immigrant is a criminal. Being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime. I know what a crime looks like. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. 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 An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal, and we have to correct course in this conversation. We're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals. That's correct.
So we got to talk about this sheriff here. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar defends Kamala Harris as effective solver of border issues. So he was at the DNC and gave a prolific speech, I guess, air quotes prolific, praising Kamala and Joe on the border crisis. Now she's been dubbed the border czar for a reason, right? There's a couple of clips I want to play. He was involved with a couple of years ago where he had some things to say about the administration. I'm Buzz Brown Conservative. Let's go.
On the other side of the border, the traffickers, they pack migrants into 18-wheelers like cattle, 50, 100 at a time. Then they seal the doors. That's when the 911 calls come. We hear them, desperate, terrified, gasping for air. Now, sometimes we get there in time. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, we can't. When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second. He is a self-serving man. I mean, look, just like when he killed the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail. Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out. I may be paraphrasing a bit. We protect, now the border sheriffs that I know, right, and we're like Kamala. We protect and serve. We enforce the law. We show compassion. And we fight like hell to protect our border. Because as we've always known in Texas, cuando luchamos, ganamos. When we fight, we win.
Now, this is one of the reasons why I love the internet, because you can just look up some videos and see what these people were saying a couple of years ago. Now, these are two different people we're about to see here in these clips. He was on with CNN, and he was talking about specifically this 18-wheeler that had a bunch of migrants that died, unfortunately. And he has some words to President Biden and Kamala. Please come to the border to help us out. He's saying something different. He's whistling Dixie when he needs to, when he's given enough money by the administration or whoever, honestly. Take a look.
Yeah, I mean, you have criticism for both sides in this letter. You also say that President Biden's inaction is allowing Governor Abbott to use the issue as a campaign stunt, and you say that he has an ineffective farce of an effort that is kind of trickling down to some of these things that your deputies are seeing. What do you want the president to do? I mean, what could he do that would help you and your deputies on the ground?
Well, what I'd like the president to start with, and not that I'm trying to blame him for anything that's going on, but we haven't seen him down here. It's noticeable among Texas law enforcement. I'm seeing a loss of confidence in the federal administration, and which has been going on for a couple of years now. But you know, what I'd like to see is have the president himself or the vice president herself come down, get eyes on it, get boots on the ground, get eyes on the situation, and realize that it goes beyond just the border and what I've termed a campaign stunt. All these assets being poured onto the border, and these people are making it past that anyway, and ending up here in what I'm calling a hub location. And so what I'd like to see is the president and or his administration physically come down here and get eyes on the situation, and then hear what local law enforcement has to say about what we're dealing with on a daily basis.
Yeah, look, this is a moment, what has happened there, that we cannot ignore as a country. I mean, this loss of life is just, it is tremendous and it is horrific, Sheriff, and we appreciate you speaking with us this morning.
Now, that's just one of them. That is just one of the instances where Javier Salazar said to President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, come down here and see the place and don't make it a campaign stunt. Now, let's take a look at another one. This is MSNBC, where he was again caught on the hot mic, and we got it forever on the internet. Take a look.
That needs to be handled. You can't tell me that the immigration situation in this country is working just fine.
So, Sheriff, you've written 3, I understand, letters to the White House. Here's your opportunity to speak directly to the president and to the folks at the White House. Cameras are yours. What are you going to tell the president?
Mr. President, we need your help. With all due respect, the perception here, what I've seen in talking to other law enforcement leaders in my precious state of Texas, is the perception is that there's been a complete absence from Washington, D.C. Now, I know that you've got a whole world to protect and serve. However, here down in Texas, we need your help. We need you here to talk to us and see if we can be part of the solution. Right now, what we're doing is we're allowing the state government to control that narrative, and maybe they're trying their best. I don't know. But at this point, the results that we're seeing are just not satisfactory. Clearly, we're dealing with over 50 people dead. That means the approach isn't working. And so we need the president's help to come down here and talk to Texas law enforcement, and let's see if we can't figure something out.
Mr. President, we need your help. Come down here. Please. You're not doing nothing. You ain't doing enough. We need to make a plan. Now, that sounds like someone different from the DNC speech we saw a minute ago, right? Completely different people. Now, these are people the DNC loves to have, Kamala, Biden, whoever, Hillary Clinton. They love people who would change their stance on anything, even if they're on video. Even if we have them on video like we do Mr. Salazar here, we got 2 videos of him talking about, Joe and Kamala not doing nothing to help the border. 2 videos, Javier, of you saying something different from your speech during the DNC. Now, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. I'm Buzz Brown Conservative. Peace.